caricatures to roses of Muhammad. All I'm saying is that it would be nice to live in a world in which the US Congress would change the name of French fries into Muhammad's fries and the Iranian authorities' Danish pastry into freedom pastry. But the prospect of tolerance is the one in which our stores and restaurant menus, unfortunately, will be more and more full of different versions of Tuscany fries. Why? Because I claim we tend to perceive the problem that underlines different violent outbursts as the one of the right measure between the respect for the other versus our own freedom of expression. And I think to conceive in this way, the problem is in itself a mystification. No wonder that upon a closer analysis, the two opposites reveal their secret solidarity. That is to say, on the one hand, the language of respect is the language of liberal tolerance. Respect only has a meaning as respect for those with whom I do not agree. So when the offended ones demand respect for their otherness, they accept the frame of the liberal tolerant discourse. On the other hand, blasphemy is not only an attitude of hatred, of trying to strike, hit the other where it hurts. It is a strictly religious attitude. It only works within the convolutions of a religious space. So my point here is that what lurks at the horizon of this obsession with respect is a nightmarish prospect of a society regulated by a perverse pact between religious fundamentalists and the politically correct preachers of tolerance and respect for the other's beliefs. A society immobilized by the concern for not hurting the other, no matter how cruel, superstitious this other is. A society in which individuals are engaged in regular rituals of witnessing their victimization. So how are we to break this deadlock? Is the problem, where does the problem reside? Does it reside where William Butler Yeats located it, when he wrote, you remember his famous line from Second Coming, "A blood-dimmed tide is loosed." And then, as the poem goes on, "The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity." It may appear that this is a good description of our today's split between anemic liberals and impassionate fundamentalists. The best are no longer able to fully engage themselves, while the worst engage in racist, sexist, and so on fanaticism. However, are the so-called fundamentalists really fundamentalists in an authentic sense of the term? Do they really believe? What they lack is a feature, I claim, which is easy to discern in all authentic fundamentalists, from Tibetan Buddhists to even, why not, Amish in the United States. The absence of resentment and envy, the deep indifference towards the non-believer's way of life. Since they really believe that they found their way to truth, why should they feel threatened by non-believers? Why should they envy them? When, for example, a Buddhist encounters a Western hedonist, he is far from condemning him. He just benevolently notes that the hedonist's search for happiness is self-defeating. In contrast to a true fundamentalist, the pseudo-fundamentalists are deeply bothered, intrigued, fascinated by the sinful life of non-believers. One can feel that in fighting the sinful other, they are fighting their own temptation. So again, my first reaction, you know, it's the same like when conservatives deplore the lack of family values. My reaction is not, no, this is a fundamentalist idea, what about, I don't know, homosexual marriages, open families. No, my idea is, who are they to talk about family values? It's the neoliberal economic program, which, as every economist will tell you, did more than all hedonists and homosexuals together to destroy any serious meaning of the term, whatever this could mean, family values. So again, the first line of defense should be not even to admit to them that they truly are fundamentalists, if this term has any full meaning. For example, look at a TV preacher figure like Jimmy Swaggart or whatever. I think it's ridiculous to call him a fundamentalist. Is he not, and people like him, a clear example of how the very way they deliver the message undermines the message? In their message, they can preach against tolerance, ego trip, and so on. They stage one big ego trip in their preaching. So it is here, I think, that Yates' diagnosis falls short. Passionate intensity of a violent mob or a violent fundamentalist preacher bears witness precisely to the lack of a true conviction. We do not believe where we seem to believe. We should problematize the notion of belief. How? Where is belief today?